So we said leadership is not just leadership, but we should have true leadership. All right. So we looked at I'm just trying to recap what we did last before we bounce back into what I call the leadership potential. Yeah. So we said there is true leadership. We're not that for you to know what is leadership, you have to know what is not leadership. All right. We said that what is not leadership is people who are into manipulation. Okay. They mistake leadership to manipulating and intimidating people. You can't be doing that and call it leadership. Okay. True leadership is not all about control. It's about service. We said when you hear people say this guy is powerful, that's a very good example that you're not a true leader. A true leader is not powerful, but he empowers the people. All right. He doesn't take advantage of them manipulatively. He doesn't intimidate them. He empowers people. We talked about testimonies from the followers. Okay. Not followership disconnect. When you have people that the way they speak about this guy, you know what I mean? You see somebody say, look at that gentleman. This man made me. You know, most people use such, so this one will tell you, this one empowers me.
This is the person that empowers me.
Yes, that's what, a very good example that this guy is a very good leader, okay? So leadership is not all about manipulation, it's about inspiration. Okay, the leaders are full of inspiration. They are just, whether you want to believe it or not, your role models, people you could kindly call your mentors, even though there are some differences here and there. But your leader is your mentor, is your role model. He comes with inspiration. When he comes in, you see that ambience. All right, you see that sense of growth. You want to do what your leader is doing. And like I said, when my mentee, one of them came here, one of my sons, I said, it is the desire of a leader or a mentor to see his mentees grow bigger than him. So that's what it is. So true leadership is really not about people discussing here, but it's about helping people achieve purpose. That's what it's all about. All right. So true leadership do not seek just followers. You know, but there are people that just want to lead. So I just wanted to recap, part of the things which we did, last time. Yes, we came here. We said leaders seek for the next generation and politicians seek for the next election. All right. That is what it's all about. So we looked at things where we said that is examples of bad leadership, politics without principles, pleasure without conscience. We looked at wealth without work, where you earn without working for it, either by destruction or by fraud, knowledge without character, business without morality, science without humanity. Yes, worship without sacrifice. These are some of the examples we gave as examples of bad leadership. We went further to talk about true leaders, what they focus on. We looked at it as purpose. We looked at passion. A leader should have purpose. We said when purpose is misunderstood, abuse becomes inevitable. A leader should have passion. Remember, we talked about Warren Buffett that asked you to look for three things in a leader. He said number one is intelligence. All right. So we can't begin to break down intelligence, but we say intelligence is all about information, the kind of information a leader brings in. We say leaders study. They read ahead. Okay. They study. They acquire information. Information, differs the boys from the men. You pack a lot of information in order to lead. You know that we live if I tell people we serve an unchanging God in a changing world. It's a world that is dynamic. So if you don't read up, you wouldn't know the dynamism. You wouldn't know the changes that are happening around you. You will be surprised that the world will leave you behind. So leaders are people that are innovative. They are creative. All right. They're full of passion. So you should look for three things in a leader. Number one is intelligence. Number two is energy. Leaders are energetic. They don't sulk in self-pity, complaining about, situation of things. They use the situation of things and turn it around and they create money. They don't just look for money. All right. What others are complaining for, leaders make something out of it and have good out of it. So you say, look for three things in a leader. Look for intelligence, look for energy. But the final one is look for integrity. But he warned that if you can't find a third one, you might as well forget the first two, which is intelligence and energy, because integrity is the fulcrum for positive and true leadership. That's what Warren Buffett talked about. So we looked at that, and we say one other thing that a leader focuses on is vision, which is the mental picture of the future. And we told ourselves sometime today that we're going to look at the potentials of a leader and the dominant qualities of a leader. Okay. So while we look at the family, yes. Okay.
So that makes a very comprehensive wrap up. I would just like to ask this question though on one of the things you said about a leader, and when you said leading requires vision. there was something you said about why are you here?
That's purpose.
That's purpose. So the leader must be able to engineer that in you as
Yes,
as the
it gets
follower.
that. There's a lot of potentials in your life. All right. I was discussing with someone, I think that was last night, and I said, among couples, we eventually get into marriage. Your husband will either bring out the wrong or the right from you. All right. So it depends on, it's about digging. Do you know you can dig the earth? You get poisons, toxins. A lot is beneath.
Yes.
You can as well dig and find gold.
Indeed.
And diamond. And oil. Crude. That's a lot happening there. Now, are you a geologist? That's the question. Are you knowledgeable enough to even know how to dig?
Yes.
All right. So what are you digging out of your wife if you keep provoking her with her? You're going to get anger. You're going to get fight. So the same thing. So what are you digging out of her when you keep telling her, look, that's a lot that the Lord has learned in you. I see you more intelligent than this. I think you're going to be great in life. You're trying to dig out her potentials or his, depending, vice versa.
Yes.
So that's a lot in us. When we say potentials, God has given, there's nobody that was born a fool. That's why it's difficult. God said, don't call anybody raka or fool. There's nobody born a fool. Anybody you see that is not doing well in life is somebody that has not been discovered. The things I tell teachers, I have trained a lot of schools of all classes, the lecturers, teachers, whatever. My major concern is discovering
the potentials of the pupils.
First of all, discover them, which is part of what I'm going to talk about today about marriage.
Okay.
Help discover the kids. If you discover someone, do you know people get married? You won't discover your wife until both of you apart. Then that wife will remarry, and you are like, what happened to her? No, sir, you didn't discover her. Another man took her
and discovered her.
Just like a raw gold, brought out the talents in her, threw it out there. You're not buying it in the supermarket as earring and necklace. But that was a raw gold that was beneath there, but you refused to dig. You now saw it at a shop. Because the whole thing about repackaging is dig it out, cut it in pieces, take it through furnace.
Yeah.
It's not a good experience.
No.
Fractal distillation involves fire. Going from one stage to the other, having catalysts to help you burn this and that and shaping it and the rest of them. Then these things, look at the beautiful earrings you're wearing. It wasn't like this. When you got it takes a man to, that's why when God said, look at your own wife, that person you're admiring, somebody shaped her into that. That man you will look and say, Kai, I love this guy. Somebody helped to shape him in that way, okay? They all came in form of dirty gold. Because the raw gold is dirty. It doesn't look good. But you have to polish it. Cut it into shape. That's what it's all about. That's what the potentials all about.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Okay. So let's get on to marriage now.
Yeah. So what I didn't want us to talk before we get back to the leadership thing, which we talked about, is, I had someone call in at the end of the program last week and said, okay, what do we do in the areas of the younger ones who are not married yet? The problem of you making wrong choice. Because you've been telling us that if we choose the wrong partner, that the devil has settled us for life.
For life.
Okay, so that
There's no need.
Yeah, that we're going to go into misery and all whatnot. But that's the truth. In choice making and how people make wrong choice. These are some of the things I want to talk. Last week, I talked about hormonal difference.
Yeah.
All right, because we talked about the anthropause and the menopause. And that most people are not even aware of this. And most men don't know that their wives go through certain stage when they begin to graduate in age. That if you don't know these things, you're going to have issues. That we are not just wired for emotion and logistics, that we're also wired through differences in a hormonal nature, the way God built it. This is mother nature or not, okay? We need to understand that. Like, this is how, I've mentioned it last week. For those of you who are not following up, you have to begin to know this, all right? And how also when a woman is getting through her menopause, there are certain changes which, shows his expression in our physical being. You just see a woman getting unnecessarily irritated and demand the same thing and loss of interest, mood switch. But another point I have to make, even as I go into this choice of the younger ones, is also, let's know when we are faking these things. That's what I said last week. I said, okay, don't go and fake it and say, okay, all right, somebody just said this thing. I think I had it. That's what I'm going through. No, sir. You have been manipulative and cocky in that marriage, and you're going to mess it up. No woman. All right. You have to know when you are now allowing the devil, if there's anything like that. Thank God I took my time in teaching about the soul, the spirit, and the body. All right. A lot of people today married the wrong choice. And how do you know that? Okay. There's something people say, this is my soulmate. I've described that before.
Yeah.
There are cases where people will tell you, well, My body is here with you. Say you went and paid my parents. You agreed with my dad because they are co-contractors and or they are politicians. So you have agreed for me to be here. But I want to remind you, my body is just with you, but my mind or my soul, that's my soul is somewhere. What we do here every day is that this is my soulmate. The person you married, is your soulmate? Studies show that quite a good number of both male and female marry the wrong partners and they regret their marriage. To be frank with you, a man was asked, why are you always holding your marriage certificate? He said he was looking for expiring date. A lot of men and women feel that way. They can't say it, but if they have the whatever, they will tell you, I don't know who pushed me into this. I don't know when I did this. It's like I did it in a hurry if I had known. But what some of them don't know, in quote, is that even if you're giving chance for that second person in your eyes is, these temporal things might look easy for you, but when she goes in or he or she comes in and live with you, you also begin to see those things you think you are seeing in your wife because of familiarity and that you're living with her. That's the same thing. All right. We open. The scales where you begin to see reality. So it's important for people to understand these differences, okay? And you that we talk about mood swings, because I've seen these things also destroy marriages. Why is the lady behaving that way? They say she has mood swings. She switches into this. If your life is like electricity, it's EEDC and NEPA, that you switch in and switch off at your own interval. You have to be careful and be sure you have worked on your mind. For what the apostle said in the book of Romans, let our mind be renewed, be transformed by renewing our mind. You must be able to work on your mind, all right? And know when the enemy is taking advantage of you. This is when I say science interplays humanity, okay? Are you the type that is deliberate at every second? You say, no, it's me, it's my character, it's my mood switch. But you're killing someone.
This is how I
Your
am.
partner is telling you, I don't like this. This is why it's soulmate. You tell people. Okay, so that takes us to compatibility.
Okay.
Which we didn't really have. The compatibility process I'm talking about is in choice making. I'm not going to take fully on that. Okay. Maybe we'll handle it next week as part of it, all right? In choice making, the first thing for you to do is to discover yourself. The first thing you do, you're a young man, perhaps you're up to the age of marriage. I said marriage is not for boys, it's for men. For this purpose, you're a man, not a boy. Leave his parents and shall cling to the wife, all right? So you have to, first of all, discover. I discovered that most people who get into marriage have not even discovered themselves. All right? It says, whosoever findeth a wife, findeth a good thing. But I want to give you advice this morning. I want to advise you to please look for yourself first before looking for a wife. Find yourself, all right?
You will not find a good thing.
Find yourself first. Most people are lost. They are confused. These are gentlemen and women who are just like in multifaceted dimension, moving about like what I can't even place. They can't find themselves, all right? If you ask them, who are you? If you discover in the Bible, Jesus
call their names.
Jesus called the disciples, say, whom do men say
I
am? This conscious of identity is a very serious issue. All right. There are cases you see God will tell Moses, when you go there, tell them I am. The importance of identity. All right. Identity is image. God is concerned about image. Go discover yourself before you talk about who are you. All right. That's the first thing I think somebody is going to do. Find yourself, the kind of person you are, your capacity, your competence, your capability, your strength, your weaknesses. All right. When I start getting into leadership, we're going to look at emotional intelligence. We're going to look at elements of emotional intelligence. Number one, elements of emotional intelligence is self-awareness. Who are you? This is the question.
So it's not just if they say, who are you now? And I'm going to say, I am Annie Abdul-Salam.
That is your name. The same thing I said, how are you feeling? You can tell me I am sick. Is your name sick?
No.
Because you just told me I am Annie. You also say I am sick. So have you replaced your name with sick? So there is more to your identity, to the branding or your name. All right. So there's more to that car than the image, than the cover of the car. All right. You need to rediscover yourself. That's a lot about you. You've not discovered your weaknesses. And if you carry it into marriage is a very big issue. It's like a house. All right. If you don't discover the kind of, first of all, in trying to build a house, the architects, whatever will tell you, you can't even build here. There was something like a refuse bin or a silo that was done here several years ago. So that place, capable of that house sinking. They will look at the topography of the house and tell you that I don't advise you to build here. It's not going to work. There was a well that was done here several years ago. So it's not even looking like a surface that can carry that ground. So these are measures that we'll take. What kind of person are you? You are sick. All right. The sick I'm talking about may not be malaria or whatever you suffer in Africa or whatever. You're emotionally sick. Discover yourself. Have you even realized that you are sick? Some people are semi-psychopaths. They don't even know. The hurt people without even knowing it because they have a messed up conscience and messed up mind. All right. You have not discovered that aspect of you. You thought it was fun. Because there are people that do things, there are people that queue for fun.
Yeah.
And you've not even,
Psychopaths.
you've not even discovered it. All right. So the first thing I tell anybody, especially the male folk or the female folk or whatever, first discover yourself. What kind of person are you? All right. Discover yourself. Then number 2, discover what you want.
Discover what you want.
What do you want? If I tell you now that, first of all, I need a house. All right. The first question somebody will ask you is, what kind of house do you want? Because that number 1 and number 2 has something to do together. Why do they have something to do together? This thing about marriage has class. For instance, if I know I'm a school leaver, I just read my primary 6. I've discovered it. It's plain. That's how much I could do. All right. I've discovered that. Now, second stage, I'm looking for something. Yeah. That's why I say discover what you want. Now, I tell you, I want to marry an associate professor.
Yes. That's
like a house. Okay, houses, if you live in Lagos or, Port Harcourt, there are places in Port Harcourt, maybe the cost of living is very high. A flat, if that's what they quantify it, or an apartment, could be in hundreds of thousands. And the same similar house, you get it in another region. It's very, very less.
It's far cheaper.
Far cheaper. That's how it is. Describing but for me to say, I want those exorbitant ones, the next thing the person will ask you, what do you have in your budget? That's why I say description. We're going to bring it down to marriage, because if you describe whom you are, then if I say, vice versa, I just had my 5 PhDs. All right. Now I've discovered whom I am. I'm a genius. I'm a first class holder and everything. Now I'm looking for a wife, and I've chosen to marry a market woman that didn't even finish her school cert. She just did primary 3 and her parents had her out and she started. And that's the kind of person I am telling, I love you more than my mother and my father, and I must marry you by all means. Indirectly, we're looking at compatibility. You are inviting trouble. Yeah. All right, because people don't define all this. Before they know it, they bring in religion. The Spirit is telling me I will marry you. Before the Spirit tells you, put up these definitions. Who are you? Yeah. You discover yourself. What are your weaknesses? All right. So if you understand it and understand yourself, the kind of person you are, for instance, if you're highly temperamental, when we get into what marriage is all about, when we begin to look at what marriage should do, is here. We're going to look at it. You'll see in terms of complementing each other. For instance, if you're the type that is easily angry, all right, what kind of person should you marry? So this is before even you start talking, if there's anything about prayers, prayer should help you do these things I'm telling you now, all right? So prayer should help you discover whom you are, help you also. The Bible said the steps of a good man are ordered of the Lord. Let him order you to know what you want from life. What do you want? I've talked about marriage. What kind of marriage do you want? Contemporary marriage? Do you want traditional marriage? Do you want the kingdom marriage, which is the church marriage? If you want contemporary marriage, don't switch. You're going to have a problem with this guy. All right. You are doing American, London, European, WhatsApp marriage, and that's contemporary. Yeah. If you want the traditional marriage, you've agreed on it. Remember when it takes you to the village and say, you have to cross this stream. You signed it in. All right. You defined what you want before you started going into it. All right. People said, I'm looking for a life partner. Get a life before a partner. All right, because I've had that. I'm looking for a life. You don't have a life. This thing you live is not a life. You have queer character. You're almost hiding like a cat or a dog, and people don't understand. This thing is no life. You don't eat well. You don't eat what other people are eating. And you say you're looking for a life partner. Get life first. Get a life. Then start looking for a partner. Then get a partner that will match your miserable. Life, but you're looking for a life partner. Get a life. That will match, that you not get a partner that will match your miserable life. Exactly. Get a life. That is what you need, because this thing is no life. There are people that don't have life. And you're looking for somebody's daughter to come and humiliate. You don't have a life. Everything about you is sad, sorrow, pain. Sometimes people say, God will give me an angel. When you're living in hell. Exactly. Angels don't live in hell, okay? Get a life, okay? Walk around you. If you need a future, whether education, go to school, get a certificate, get a room. Just upscale yourself. Get a life. Just have that ambience of life around you. Likes attract like. You see people wants to be with you. Not like everything about you is like upside down, failure. There's no life around you. All right? So, and you want to have this. One of the mistakes couples make or people who want to marry, they don't marry their friends.
They don't marry
their friends. If you know what friendship is all about. Your friend is an extension of yourself without which you are not complete. They don't sympathize with your weakness. They help you summon your strength. Make a friend. Before even you start talking about marriage. You can't, it hurts me when I hear people say, our parents arranged our marriage. How? You live in Equatorial Guinea or live in whatever place you live, and your parents are arranging it here, somebody you've never known, and the only time you are coming back is when you are coming for wedding. Beautiful weddings here and there, but messed up marriages. Beautiful and ecstatic weddings, but messed up marriages. They don't have good friends. That's one of the problems people have, especially the younger ones. They don't have friends. All right? So most of them may have sex partners and the rest of them. Number two, some of the mistakes they make, apart from having good friends. I talked about friendship. You need to have your friend. Because this marriage thing is a long thing. All right? Beyond the sex that takes how many minutes or whatever it takes, maybe you pray together.
Yeah.
Out of 24 hours, maybe the sex takes 30 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever it takes, and whatever. The prayer takes 10 minutes or 1 hour. Let's say you fasted and prayed for 7 hours. What are you going to do with about 20 hours or 15 hours remaining? Frowning at each other because you didn't marry your friend.
You back each other.
You start pressing your phone. All right? Because you don't even, and people don't even know. How men and women are created. Maybe that would be another, Men are created to focus and vision. That's why they see ahead. A man can tell you this is what we're going to plan. But people around people tell you that men don't see well in their environment. They are so careless. You know, women are formed to see sideways this way. Men are formed to see
peripheral.
Yes, they are focused. This is why somebody said, how do women, it doesn't matter how you place your phone, they will see what you're reading because of how they can see. They can see from the side.
They are looking straight up, but
they are looking straight and know what is happening around them. That is why if your wife tells you that something is your friend, that's without their eye. Men are just far.
Straight ahead.
That's why to organize things in the home is difficult for a man. You need to know how these people are wired. It doesn't matter how you do that your phone. You keep wondering, how do they get message? I'm sitting on the same place. It's the same way they see. It's part of it. So get a friend. That your house could be turned into, once a week, that you can turn that your house into comedy. You don't even need to go for a cinema because your husband, despite the fact he's a PhD holder, he's a medical doctor, he's also a comedian. You can't marry somebody who doesn't make you laugh. It should be fun. Get somebody from time to time who clowns about. It doesn't matter what he does in the office. He can be a commander-in-chief. Everybody salutes him to you. But if he comes to the home, both you and the children are rolling on the floor because he's your friend. You're not scared to share opinions with him or her. You can say things freely and get away with it and crack any form of jokes because somebody's a friend. A friend that's sticking closer than a brother. A friend you can confide with. And to build friendship is not a day thing. All right? Most people,
takes time.
Just not by 4 days ago, I was counseling a couple, and the lady was telling me why she would never trust the husband again. And I said, can you open up? And she said, at the cost of our wedding, we had to open up to each other.
Okay.
All right? She said I should tell him everything I've done. And she would tell me, let's just clean this and that. The Bible said,
the two became one.
Became naked and they were not ashamed. So he told me blah, blah, blah things. I kept. And I told him these are the relationships I had. Do you know, since then, my husband have been telling his relative all those things I told him. Some of the few friends I slept with before I married him, he has gone around telling everybody, and he shouts it in their home. Where somebody hears it. And you expect me to go back to that home. Now, this is how you kill trust. She will never open up again. She has locked in.
Of course.
Never. And so many men will tell, no, my wife is stubborn. She doesn't talk. You can't trace back
what you did.
Where you locked the key. There are things like that. So mistakes people make is not marrying their friends. You need to marry your friend. Somebody you understand. Men looking at the friend, you understand? It's just like children and their parents. Those days, dad could come in if he's coming in with his friends. We used to have 2 or 3 parlors. I don't know. If he's coming to use the one, you people are staying. Just means I'm coming close. You guys disappear. We don't even need to hear it's close. Just that. They mean that I'm
around now.
I'm very close. So everybody will start running. And just like sometimes you will allow us, friends will walk in. You'll be saying something, maybe they are watching football. Your man to start running to tell you that. I think you need to leave the home. He will adjust the seat and do as if he's taking a very sharp breath. It means get out. He's spoken enough. So, so much come with him that you now understand signs. That's what bonding and friendship is all about. Number 2, some of the mistakes is clarity. We don't really clear these things before. Did you tell this guy about you, the kind of things you want, the kind of relationship? And I just want to marry you. I've been looking for a wife. Did he tell you he's going to live in UK and you'll be in Nigeria? And he's not going to do the paper for you? Did you clear that part? Did this guy tell you that he's a medical doctor, he sees patients and it will take him out of time? Sometimes the consultancy
Go late.
with there, those phones you are checking, do you know sometimes you have the patients to send me their parts of their body and the rest of them? Did you have clarity that the person you're marrying is, what do you call them? Not just a comedian, he's a movie industry that he's going to kiss on set? Did you clear that part before you said yes? Say yes. Say yes. Say yes. Say yes. Say yes. Did you clear that part before? That look, how many of them, go check their marriages. What is it breaking? How can you be kissing? He's kissing because that's the way he brings food on the table. That's part of his job.
That's his job.
So why did you say yes? There was no clarity. That's why this marriage is having problem. You got to have clarity on these kind of things. What kind of job do you do? He will tell you. This is how it is. The kind of job I do means that I'm working with a multinational. I'm going to be under the rig. So I'm going to spend quite a good number of time under the river. I'm going to come out. So several weeks out, we may not be together. No, I don't like that kind of person, please. I'm sorry, I love you, but I can't deal with this. This can't work with me. Clarity. Don't say, no, the Lord is with you. The Lord will take control. At the time of man's ignorance, the Bible said the Lord overlooks, but yet he calls for repentance. Did you put clarity before ever saying yes on both sides? Did the lady tell you this is her kind of life? Did you even tell him if you have any sickness in your body? Look, I used to have maybe whatever it is, epilepsy or whatever, but I'm handling it. I'm asthmatic. Did you open up on that side? Did you bring clarity? This is me. I love this. I love that. Look, I wouldn't want to have kids. Yeah. Why? Why do you want to have kids? Even if I'm going to have it, it's going to be only one. And not tomorrow. Don't tell me that rubbish. I am the man of the house. You must have 7 kids for me. In fact, I would have had 12. I'm pitying you because of that's why I'm having 7. Did you have the clarity before having into relationship or marriage? Number 3, mentorship. All right, which we talked about. Yeah, you need somebody when it's getting now. Somebody might be listening to me now. You're about preparing for marriage. Go talk to someone. Somebody who have done this thing before. I'm not talking about somebody who has not married, advising you. I'm talking about somebody who has made the mistakes. If you want to, in fact, get it right, get out somebody who has made mistake and learn from the mistake. Behind every failure is a seed of success. I tell people that success are 2 failures who didn't give up. Go to someone that will mentor you, who have gone through this process, who, like a phoenix, who fell from the ashes, they rose again. They need to talk to you. They need to tell you that, look, this is not always what you think. People rise from this. If you want to call it guidance and counseling, that's fine. You need somebody you need to talk to that, look, I'm about going into this. This is the kind of guy this person is. This is what the kind of, he believes and, principles I also stand with. Please advise me. The person will look into your eyes and tell you, I'm not ready. Give it time, all right? Or tell the person to give you time. Like we talked about information and knowledge. We talked about comprehension and understanding. We talked about wisdom and application. The person will see you down and tell you how these things work. From what I can see, my daughter, I don't think you are ready for this marriage. Give it more time, okay? Get more information, all right? This gentleman, from what you told me, you don't know anything about him. Because I don't want you to go through misery the rest of your life or in pain. You need a mentor. That's the mistake people make. You need somebody you can confidently go to and open up to him, not lies. This is what it is, all right? And for Christ's sake, your intending partner or whatever is not your benefactor until both of you get married. This issue of somebody wants to marry you, as soon as he said, I think I'm preparing for us to marry, the next thing he hears is our house rent will expire on the 28th. In fact, my father was owing the person that wanted to kill him last week 200,000, but we have paid 50, remaining 150. Before you finish, he will tell you, the coke I drank, this is the balance of it in your house. Please, it was nice meeting you people. Stop driving. Stop driving people away with family problems.
Maybe you want to marry.
Stop driving people away with family problems when they want to come and marry you. All right? Even if they're going to help you, they have their own issue. They have their own relatives. They may not have solved up the problem in their relatives' family. Side, you just love you. Both of you can build together. Not just good afternoon. List number 1. It's not even that he's paying dowry. All the family problem, you transfer it to him already. And the person will feel discouraged.
This is my father. The man my father was owing, I almost killed him.
Thank God God brought you my way. I prayed last night. In fact, I don't know. As I'm talking to you now, my father's car has knocked engine. Am I the one that knocked your father's car engine? I came to marry you.
So if I was not here, your father would not fix his car.
I mean, all kinds of funny things that comes.
Yeah.
So these are mistakes people make, okay? Time of courtship is a time of interview, not time of intercourse. It's a time of interview. Ask as many questions you are going to ask. All right? What happened to you? Have you married before? Yes, I have. We've even waited. Is the lady still around? Did you go to court? Yes, we had a court waiting. Have you done divorce? No, forget that lady. She's stupid. She has just gone. No, sir. If there's no divorce,
Yes,
that marriage is still in
binding.
existence.
Yeah.
All right? So ask questions. Where are you from? What kind of culture do you practice in your family? What runs in your family? All right? When we get into the sexuality of marriage, you see that he that is joined to a harlot has one body with a harlot. I'll be talking if I have time with people who goes about sleeping around. You are inviting spirits to your home. All right? So that is there. So the mentors and guidance and time of interview and not of intercourse. Waiting to get, fully ready is not what marriage is all about. There are people that said, I'm not marrying because I don't have enough money. When is enough? What did the Lord say is enough money to get married? I haven't had it before. So you have to tell us what your place said. This is enough money that can carry people. If you have vision, which we are going to talk about.
Maybe not wedding, but for the marriage itself.
Wedding itself is even what I'm talking about. Okay. For instance, a lady was telling me recently she bought a wedding. If you have it, why not? You bought a wedding gown of about 10 million. God bless you if you have all the goals in it. But this is something you're wearing once. If there's any other period, even if they're going to put it on you, is when you are being buried. I've never seen anybody that wears wedding gown to any program.
Any occasion.
Why should you waste that kind of money? These are the things that drag people back. They tell you that, I want to do this, you're competing with it. And because of the so-called wedding, they don't prepare for marriage. This kind of programs we're doing every Thursday now, we're doing this, is to help you prepare for marriage, not for wedding. Anything. See, I have seen people call 3 people, stand before them or beside them. They finish. They brought just 3 slices of yam, put tea on it, and bless the people and ask everybody to go. If you remain there, you know what they're waiting for. As far as I'm concerned, marriage is cosmetic and it's done. It's done.
Why is the yam?
Whether yam or beans, anyone can match. It mustn't be rice.
Please bring the yam back.
Okay.
Better the yam than beans.
Some of these things we copy and whatever. I'm putting people under pressure. You must do this. If you don't bring SUV, 7 of them, you have not waited. Yeah. Who told you you cannot use even your keke and become fine-tune it? And people will even love it. Yeah. I've seen a motorcyclist that waited with his motorcycle. Did we hear that the priest canceled the wedding? No. Is anybody's business? Who even cares? Just like I tell people, for business signing and innovation, the only thing people see is the pen and the watch you're wearing, perhaps your suit. Nobody knows what you drove into the premises of the job with. So there are so many things which you add which are not very, very necessary. Okay. All right. So there are things of, like I just mentioned now, these are some of the things which people put that are not very necessary in marriage, which cause a lot of problem. I'm also going to look at how Christ, because we get into the scriptures.
Sorry, just before we get into the scriptures, I want to start engaging people so they can start calling before then. It's already 9:48. Of course, we're talking marriage. If there are any issues that you would like clarity on, if there's something you would like an advice on, you can call in. The numbers to dial are 0818 7888 889. That is 081 87 888 889. And you can also dial 091 6000 8890 091 6000 8890. WhatsApp or SMS us on 091 6000 8890. For WhatsApp and SMS, again, the number is 091 6000 8898. Okay, you said we'll go into the scriptures, right? You were about to say something that...
Yeah, that's a lot that Jesus talked about in the marriage, things that could damage. Look at good news, the book of Proverbs chapter 5 from verse 15. They need to concentrate on your marriage. The holiness behind marriage is very important. We are looking at all these factors because we're trying to get to the root of why marriages damage and why people have issues. Yes.
Okay, let me take this. Hello?
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Annie.
Yeah, good morning. What's your name?
My name is Progress.
All right, Progress. Great to have you. Go ahead.
Yes, sir, doctor, you're a blessing to our generation. I almost made a mistake some months ago until I started attending that Thursday program that you handled. And then the way you speak is like you speak to every individual personally. I don't know how you get to know, but I guess it's the spirit leadership. But talking about this marriage of a stuff, the problem is you said something one other Thursday that it was an institution. And an institution is a big thing. It's not just you. It has to do with people around that are connected to that institution. And every institution has its processes. And I want to ask, I want to ask. You said marriages is for men. At one point, will a man decide that he is up to a man? Because sometimes most of us get into institutions that we are not necessarily connected to. We have no purpose being in that institution in the first place.
Okay, all right. He'll answer it. At what point will a man decide he's a man and get into marriage?
Well, the answer could come in various dimensions, because biologically you grow into a man, which you and I know. The society accepts you as one. Whether the society accepts you or not, at least you know you grow into that. We know our teenage, we know our adolescence, we know when we say that. So when we clear that, all right. But there are problems where even people that have gone through this biological metamorphosis and changes still behave like kids. Okay. That's what we're talking about. So I will accept that you have grown into a man when biologically, which we've just agreed, mentally very important. Yeah. That's why that topic I handled that I said, I even asked about the council to keep it. It's very important. Your mind will agree that you have grown into a man. Your will agree that you've grown into a man. Your emotions, how you put emotions in check, will agree. Then your spirit will come in agreement with these three that I've mentioned to agree that you're a man. All right? Otherwise, you end up, because if you don't come in agreement, you say, when I was a child, I spoke like a child. I acted like a child. I understood like a child. And I said, when you become an adult, how you know you become an adult is that, first of all, you comprehend like an adult. You don't speak first. Then you speak. These are the difference. So if those changes, those radical changes are not there, it's not advisable you go into marriage. Your mind is still messed up. Develop it. That's why, people that read impresses me a lot. Because when you read, you help yourself a lot. I tell people that the books you read and the people you meet, which is why I talked about counseling. All right? The people you interact with. If you start interacting with the greats, there are tendencies that you're going to become great yourself. All right? So programs like the one we're having this evening, this Thursday program, the kind of people that come there, I wonder, great men and women that comes from various places. And so most times I open up the floor. Yeah. They rub minds. They talk. That's what it is. And people tell you their experiences. This is this thing, and this is the way I handled it, right? Yeah. If you keep your own walls and continue living in your mediocrity, you keep making mistakes. Yeah. So you need information. That's very, very important. You need comprehension. And this thing comes through people who speaks to you and who speak into your life.
Okay. All right. Fantastic answer. Let's get to the Bible part. You want me to
Okay, so we read some of the warnings that God has in Proverbs chapter 5, verse 15. From there, we'll go into reasons for marriage. All right.
Proverbs 5:15.
Mm-hmm. Good news.
Okay. Let me see. Proverbs 5:15. Good news.
23, yes.
All right. Proverbs. Be faithful to your wife, to your own wife.
To your own wife.
And give your love to her alone.
Give your love to your wife alone.
Children that you have by other women will do you no good.
You that have vowed that in every state you have one. This is what I'm going to bring you to your most of this is the scriptures. This is the wisest man you could ever think of. If you like, dispute it, but this is the word of life. The word I speak unto you is spirit and is life. The children you have indiscriminately will do you no good. Don't read your life before time. They're in the scriptures. Okay? Don't generate things that will haunt you. I tell people, you create God's promise, but you create a problem that will haunt those promises. All right? Take care of your own wife. This is discriminate behavior. Because I'm mentioning this because the greatest challenge now that is ravaging this part of the world, DNA thing. DNA thing. People are going here and there. DNA. That's what is happening now. Read the scriptures again. Okay?
Children that you have by other women will do you no good.
We do you no good.
Your children should grow up to help you.
Your children should grow up to help you. Depending on the way you are training them. Train up a child in the way they will grow. They will not depart away from it. And I pray to those of you listening to me, may your children grow to help you in Jesus' name. That's our prayer. Your children will grow up to help you, not strangers. They will abandon you. Most of you, when you start growing old, you have misery. Because you left these things. You have a miserable old age. Yes.
And your children should grow up to help you, not strangers. So be happy with your wife.
Be happy with your wife. It didn't say you have to be happy with your wife. Find a way to be here.
Find your joy with the woman you married.
Find your joy, whether it's under the cupboard, whether it's in the kitchen, wherever. Go look for it and find
with
your
joy with
the woman you married. Even when she's provoking you, find your joy, not another person's joy. Yes.
Pretty and graceful as a deer, Let her charms keep you happy.
Yes.
Let her surround you with her love. Son, why should you give your love to another woman?
Why should you give your love to another woman?
Why should you prefer the charms of another man's wife?
Why should you? We just talked about gold.
Yeah.
Those who took time, brought out the raw gold,
Polished
polished it. Why should that one bother you more than yours? Yes.
The Lord sees everything you do.
The Lord, you go to every Sunday, Wednesday to see everything you do.
Wherever you go, He is watching.
Wherever you go, whether you are lodging room 300 or 40 or room whatever, He sees. It's in the Bible.
The sins of the wicked are a trap. They get caught in the nets of their own sin. They die because they have no self-control. Their utter stupidity.
They die
will send
because
them to their
they have
graves.
no self-control.
Control.
Their utter stupidity sends them. It has been proven that even this kind of life leads people to grave before time. It's in the Bible. Matthew chapter 19.
Matthew 19.
Some good news. From verse 1. Matthew chapter 19 from verse 1.
When Jesus finished saying these things, wait, is that Matthew? Yes, Matthew 19:1. When Jesus finished saying these things, He left Galilee and went to the territory of Judea on the other side of the Jordan River. Large crowds followed Him, and He healed them there. Some Pharisees came to Him and tried to trap Him by asking, does our law allow a man to divorce his wives?
Does our law allow a man to divorce his wife?
For whatever reason.
For whatever reason.
He wishes.
He wishes.
Jesus answered.
Jesus answered.
Haven't you read the scripture?
Haven't you read the scripture?
That says in the beginning, the Creator made people, male and female.
He made them male and female and not male and male.
And God.
Homosexuality is not of God. He made them male and female.
And God said,
yes.
For this reason.
For this reason.
A man will leave his mother, his
there
father,
is this separation.
and mother.
If you have not done it as a man, you are not qualified to marry.
And unite with his wife.
And unite. Cleave. We talked about it.
And the two will become one.
And the two will become one.
So they're no longer two, but one.
Marriage makes you one.
No human being must separate then what God has joined together.
Keep reading.
The Pharisees asked Him, why then did Moses give the law for a man to hand his wife a divorce notice
yes.
and send her away?
Yes.
Jesus answered, Moses gave you permission.
Because of the hardness of your heart.
Moses gave you permission to divorce your wives because you are hard to teach.
Yes.
But it was not like that
From
at the
beginning.
time of creation.
The only reason that brings divorce, look at it there.
I tell you that any man who divorces his wife for any cause other than her unfaithfulness.
All that done. All right? Unfaithfulness.
Commit adultery.
Adultery.
If he marries some other woman.
If he marries some other woman. He has given reason where the issue of divorce can come. But there are cases people still forgive. But it's not to forgive and torment the person, because the Bible says it's a very difficult thing for people to do. That could separate. All right? Because there's so many things that goes with it, especially when it has to do with covenant, when I go reason for marriage, when we go into marriage. Because when that happens, a lot of covenant is broken. The problem is there. Genesis chapter 2.
Let me ask a question though.
Yes.
What if you're in a situation where there's domestic violence, either from the woman or from the man? They can't divorce?
Inseparable differences. That's part of what we're talking about. That's unfaithfulness. You're not faithful to the vow you make to stay with it. Remember, he mentioned unfaithfulness before adultery.
Yeah.
He didn't say that. You're being unfaithful to the marriage. You're killing her. That you're being unfaithful.
Or she's killing him.
Okay, or she's killing him. That's the point.
Okay. So
Genesis 2:20.
Genesis 2:20. Genesis 2:20 says, from Good News Bible, so the man named all the birds and all the animals, but not one of them was a suitable companion to help him.
Stop telling me that you married a dog or a pussycat. It's not biblical. Not even one of the animals was what?
Suitable
Was
companion.
not a suitable. I don't know where people get all these things. They say, I will not marry. I've decided to marry my cat. It's not in the Bible. We are talking about kingdom marriage. We're not talking about contemporary. Then if it's your traditional, you marry monkey.
A dog.
Or whatever in your village. God help both of you. But for the kingdom now, which we're talking about, that is the scripture that tells you can afford to marry these animals. Look at Matthew chapter 1 verse 19. Even if your wife embarrasses you, even if you caught her in whatever, what should somebody do? There was a case recently where they say a pastor rebuked somebody. You should have rebuked in love, not correcting anybody or whatever that. Where do real love come in? Especially when we have faults. All right? In Matthew chapter 1 verse 19.
Verse 19.
Yes.
1:19. Joseph was a man who always did what was right.
He was a man that always did what was right.
But he did not want to disgrace Mary publicly.
He did not. You see where love plays. People said, I love her. If you love someone, it doesn't matter how you're wrong. You see, sir, that molecule of, there are ways people talk to each other. You'll be wondering, did they really love each other before this problem started? You see somebody telling, this woman I married is a flirt, is this before your brothers and sisters, you are calling your wife or husband names publicly, even though he's still under suspicion that Mary was whatever. Imagine a woman coming up and say, an angel impregnated me. I mean, that sounded stupid if you ask me. But as they were still contemplating, because if you check the next two verses, the angel ministered to him, he eventually married Mary. But at that point, read what he said.
Says that he did not want to disgrace Mary publicly. So he made plans to break the engagement privately.
He made plans to break the engagement. You can break engagement, not marriage.
Not marriage.
Privately, just to show that I love this woman. I love this woman. I don't want to embarrass her. You can't love your wife and you're treating her like this. You even beat her in public. I've had cases where people say they stripped me naked in the public yard. Somebody you married, the mother of your kids, you've not started.
All right. Let's take this call. Hello, good morning. Hello. All right. Please call back if you can. I couldn't make out what you were saying. Or you can send us an SMS. I'll read that on 091-6000-8898. The number again is 091-6000-8898. Or you can send a WhatsApp to the same number, 091-6000-8898. You can call in. The numbers to dial are 081-87-888-889 or 091-6000-8890. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Annie and the wonderful man in the studio, man of God. Please, call me noble man. I want to ask this question. You want to marry the first person you meet in a church tells you, yes, lend me a self-content. I want to have a self-content first. I'm dealing with my siblings before I talk about marriage. And along the line, you are discouraged, you leave that one. Meet another one again. You've been friends for some months. You not tell her, ask her, let me know where you are living. You are meeting her still in the church. Let me know where you are staying. She said, before you come and know where I'm staying, the beginning to furnish, keep my house neat. I don't have this, I don't have that. So give me this amount of money. I want to keep my house in order before you come and know. I know the place. When I people in the, in the outside world are getting these things easy, unbelievers visit themselves, and before you know it, they have gotten married. And we who are, in the church, find our sisters, giving us preconditions like this. When a man who have met two women, first one, let me self-content. Second one, give me money to keep myself in order before you know where I'm living. Will the man continue moving from lady to lady while in the church? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
People mistake being in the church to being in Christ. You can be in church just like you can, the people they call non-academic students. You can be in church, but you're not in Christ.
Non-church person.
Okay, so what are the kingdom principles that he talked about? I've mentioned 3 things.
He did.
Get information, which is knowledge. If the lady is trying to find out whom you are, why should she come to your place? Tomorrow we'll start talking about immorality and pregnancy before marriage. It's from one step, a little leaven the whole lump. Why should she start visiting you when she wasn't sure? When I get into reasons for marriage, I'll tell you some of the things, mistakes. Also, I've mentioned part of it here. People make.
What about the one who's saying, "Well, get me one bedroom first"? It's self-contained.
Is it the lady that was saying?
Yes,
the man?
the lady that said that.
Yeah, I thought it was encouraging the man to go get
he should get her self-contained.
Why
she's staying with her siblings.
Why should he get you? Those are those conditions
Yes,
I told you that as soon as a man comes to you, he's not your benefactor, he's not your suitor. Okay?
So trying to get to know you.
Yes, trying to get information about you. He's not your suitor. It's not the benefactor that is coming to solve your family problem.
Hello, good morning.
Hello. Good morning, ma'am.
Yeah.
My name is Peter.
Okay, Peter, go ahead.
I'm married.
Peter, call back if you can. I'm sorry about the network this morning, or you can send us an SMS. Send it to 09160008890. Okay?
Yeah.
Hello, good morning. Just one more. Yeah. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. I'm Sam.
Sam, where are you calling from?
Port Harcourt, LMA.
Okay, LMA, good to have you, Sam. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to clarify some things. Anyway, first of all, I like your program. I like the way the man of God is actually handling these issues. Okay, straight to the point. Now, you talked about not training somebody's or not taking care of another person's child. So I want to ask, in a situation where maybe a woman comes into your life with a child, maybe probably she had a child when she was actually young. So is it rightful for the husband to take care of that child based on what the man of God was explaining? Then secondly, if in a situation where the both spouse got married in a Christian way, on the long run, each of them or one of them decided to go into the tradition, decide to leave his faith and go to the traditional aspect of his belief, and then it is bringing issues because one is trying to convert one to the other side of this belief. So how would you handle such a situation? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Just listening.
Well, if you followed us from beginning, I said, first of all, make friendship. That's why we have friendship, courtship, mentorship, everything sheep. Okay, don't shipwreck your relationship. Make friend. It's that the course of friendship, you get to know this person better. And I say, secondly, because we're looking at mistakes that intending couples make, we say clarity. If you followed us, you would have known this part. All right? I have 2 kids already from my former first marriage. This is clarity I'm bringing. Having 3 couples that married and they never had issues, they will go and adopt. So if she's coming in with kids, why are you adopting again when God has blessed you with those ones? If you really love her, those kids become part of you immediately. All right? So I didn't know where he got the part of not accepting.
I think he was mistaken when you said, as a married man, don't go having kids outside your marriage.
No. We're talking about great responsibility. Yeah. People go here and there, get young ladies and ladies impregnated and run about and creating issues. That's from the scriptures. Not if you don't say I said, that's what we read in the scriptures. All right. So this is a different thing altogether. I said 3 things should help us. All right. Even as we are talking about leadership, I hope we still have time for it to touch it. The truth is that 3 things we must look at. Information, which is knowledge. Get information. Who is this person? Where are you coming from? Have you had a child before? Whatever. Then comprehension. Give me time to understand this. Comprehension is similar to clarity. Let me get where we are going. Where are we even going? When do you want to marry? All right? Okay, talking about this marriage. When are we waiting? We will wait now, but around 2035. I can't wait. I can't wait. My age will not carry that. I don't know what you are doing. Clear those parts. Not, let's be going. That's nothing like let's be going. Where are we going? How far are we going? All right? Clear these things. Clarity. That's what I'm talking about. Not issue of give me one room. Give all these things. This is not benefactor, beneficiary, whatever. This is suitor and whatever you're doing in relationship. Take your time and get this information cleared out. Right. Both on both parents.
Okay. Let's take this call. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from, Ugochukwu? From Port Harcourt?
Yes.
Okay, please turn down the volume of your listening device that I can hear myself.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
I want to ask a question. Hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Someone now has a wife. Hello?
Ogochukwu, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
And then at the end, she happens to cut her with another man. And is it right to take that man back?
Okay, you said that it's a wife, right?
Yeah.
Ogochukwu, you mean if a wife is caught with another man, is it okay to take?
Somebody that you're proposing to marry.
Is it wife
Yes.
or is somebody you're proposing to marry?
Wife.
Wife. Okay, good. Thank you. Just listen.
But we have talked about this issue. Even Christ himself mentioned it. This is a basis for divorce. Okay, but there are cases of forgiveness. All right, depending on the mechanism, your format. That I have never forgotten the message I talked about the body, soul, and spirit. Is it the kind of thing you can handle? You don't say you have forgiven her, you brought her into the house, then you torment her to death. Every second that they call the adulteress to bring me my food. You ask people, is that adulteress in the house? Her name changes to adulteress. It's better allow her go and start eating than tormenting somebody's life, because you can't live with it. At that point, you can't eat with her, you can't bath with her, you can't do anything, but you ask her to stay in the house just to punish her. Then it's no longer marriage. This is where the Bible saw, because they know it's a very difficult thing. Adultery is a very deep discussion. All right. So outside that, there are people that they say forgive and forget. If you can heal from it and from the torment or whatever, there's something wrong with that. But the Bible tells you the law will not be against you. The burden of whatever responsibility will no longer be on you. It's been lifted. The question is, you that found out, can you also clear yourself that he said, he that have not done this, be the first person to throw the stone. Can you clear your conscience that you are not in this kind of life? That's one. Two, can you prove it beyond reasonable doubt that this is what this person, not false accusation. All right? So that's important.
All right. Thank you.
Another point I have to make there is there are certain things that could cause problem in home. For instance, if a man is living a life outside a woman, that can reflect back in their home. It's a spiritual thing. I'm dealing with the kingdom on. Look at Genesis chapter 20. Are there some activities you as a man or woman can be doing outside and it can affect your home? Yes. It can affect your husband's business. It can affect the big shop, the mall, whatever you have can be affected through the activities of one of the partners outside. Genesis chapter 20 from verse 1 to 8. Then we'll look at verse 17. All right. Abraham and wife Sarah went out there due to fear of...
Still good news.
Yes. Any of the good news is okay. All right. Chapter 20 from verse 1 to 8. Then we'll look at 17. Yes.
20 verses what?
1 to 8, yes.
1 to 8. Abraham moved to Mamre,
yes,
to the southern part of Canaan, and lived between Kadesh and Shur. Later, while he was living in Gerar, he said that his wife Sarah was his sister. So King Abimelech of Gerar had Sarah brought to him. One night, God appeared to him in a dream and said, "You are going to die.
You're a finished man." That's one of the verses of the Bible.
Because you have taken this woman, and she's already married. But Abimelech had not come near her. And he said, "Lord, I am innocent. Would you destroy me and my people?" Abraham himself said that she was his sister. And she said the same thing. "I did this with a clear conscience, and I have done no wrong."
And God had to review that conscience immediately. Now look at what God said.
God replied in the dream
and said,
"Yes, I know that you did it with a clear conscience.
That was why I did what?
So I kept you from sinning against me."
The King James Version said, "I restrained you." Listen, God has a power to restrain you from doing bad things. Not just that the steps of a good man are ordered of the Lord. That's a level you walk with God. He will restrain you
from doing evil.
He said, "I know you were deceived into this. That's why I restrain you from coming near her. You were sleeping on the same bed with her. You never touched her. And you didn't even know what happened to you." So if you're a prayer warrior woman or whatever you call yourself, you're praying well for your husband, your prayer can restrain your husband from certain stupidity. Vice versa, the same thing with the man and the woman. Your prayer can stop your wife from certain misbehaviors. God can say, "I will decide to restrain this person." But finish up. Yes, you've done to verse 8.
Yeah, I said, "But now give the woman back to her husband."
Go back and give the woman back to her husband. When the story continued, He's a prophet. He will pray for you, right? So Abimelech summoned Abraham. That's the next verses we may not have time to read.
Let's go
Take you up your wife. You deceived me, blah, blah, blah. Let's go to verse 17. It's important for us to get something there.
Because of what happened to Sarah,
Because of what happened to Sarah,
Abraham's wife,
the
Lord had made it impossible for any woman in Abimelech's palace to have children.
Did you hear that? He locked up their wombs. He might not be womb, it might be business. While Sarah was in Abimelech's house, every of his household, their womb were locked up. Are you sure what is happening in your home may not be what your husband is doing wherever he's staying? I know he's staying abroad. I know he's staying in Lagos, Abuja, or wherever he's staying, Port Harcourt. Your activity outside, they are misbehaving. They declare for you in error. We mock you in disgrace. Because of the activity of Abimelech, God locked up the womb of every woman in the household. But watch what happened. Finish up.
So Abraham prayed for Abimelech.
And what happened?
And God healed him.
He
also healed his wife.
And
his slave women.
And all the women, the servants there.
So they could have children.
And their wombs opened. People don't read Bible. Your activities outside, your immoral, promiscuous, stupid behavior could be why your business is crumbling. You might need healing. It might be why things are not working. And some people are like, I don't know what is going on. You know what I was going every day, jump into the car, piam. I'm coming back in 7 days. And you think you're smart. That's why your business is crumbling at home. And you're accusing demons in your village, the trees, this. He prayed. You need prayers. So I just wanted to put that point there.
Okay, fantastic. Yes. All right, so we'll still take a few calls and then we'll wrap this up. It's already 10:17. 0818 7888 889. I call that number again, 081 888 889 or 091 6000 8890. That's 091 6000 8890. You can send a WhatsApp message or an SMS message to 091 6000 8898. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name, please?
Yeah, my name is Samuel. I'm calling from OGR.
Okay, Samuel, go ahead.
My question is just straightforward. I want to ask the man of God about the recommendation in marriage, because our forefathers, most of our forefathers, they married through recommendation. How can you marry that in this case? Can you keep in the bud, or can you still continue?
Okay, you're saying recommendation in marriage. So do you mean like somebody will recommend a partner?
Yeah, or a group of people will recommend somebody from a family.
Okay, so they will recommend somebody from a family for marriage.
Yeah.
Okay.
He got Eve to Adam. But he was the one that said, the bone of my bone, the flesh of my flesh.
So even if they recommend, you must also...
You must be the one to... In fact, in law, we said every goods in the supermarket is invitation to treat. The fact that you saw a good doesn't mean you should pack everything in the supermarket. They still do those things. This one is 3. Buy this one. You can decide to overlook everything you see in the supermarket and walk away. Must you buy?
No.
It's invitation to treat. So if you see somebody you love, why do you love the person? It's possible that somebody could recommend, he say, no, I think we're not compatible. We're not spiritually compatible. We're not physically, we're not mentally compatible. There are so many compatibility we are going to look into eventually. And how do you find them out? Then we have to understand reason for marriage. I think that if you can handle it today, that's where we begin when we continue a leadership.
All right.
You have to understand reason for why am I even married? Why do people marry? Why can't I live alone? Because the Bible never said you must marry. But if you to avoid this, so what are the reasons for marriage?
Okay. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
Is it possible to remain anonymous?
Yes, it is. Please, where are you calling from?
Okay. What I wanted to ask, a situation where you have challenges and you kind of, I don't know whether to call it a mistake or something, in your choice of a life partner, and both of you are separated. What are you supposed to do? I don't know whether the Bible supports it.
Did you say you are divorced or separated?
Separated.
Well, that's I just had separated. People separate. But I don't know. There's a difference between separation and divorce.
Asking whether this can move on to a divorce if the Bible will support it. Because
The Bible will never.
She made a wrong choice.
We have to. Who told you made a wrong choice? We just talked about information. What information do you have? If you ask her the reason for separation now, it might even be immaturity on both sides. All right? There are several things which I needed to talk about, even reason for marriage. By the time we go into character development, there are so many things I didn't know until I got married. There are several things your husband will bring out of you and your wife will bring out of you. I have never seen anything cure a man or woman than marriage. Before you got married, there are most of us that think life is all about, whoa. Marriage will humble you. You can't help, especially when the kids start coming. You'll be wondering that it's yourself. You'll be the one pursuing the kids. So these kids are shouting too much. You that used to shout too much. You that is everywhere. You will not be the one running home, taking them to nothing humbles a man like marriage. That's what I'm saying. These people they grown. So you have to, that's why I said it is very difficult to, to repair an adult than raising a kid.
A kid.
So if you are separated, what separated them? Is it a form of immaturity? Or there are few things they're supposed to know? Maybe the man is being unnecessarily cocky and violent. Somebody should have sat him down. That's why we talk about mentors. You should have somebody that should caution you. All right? As big as whatever. I have people today, I've come with one here and several of them.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how rich. I have billionaires. I'm not joking with you. Here and there that the wife will call me. Look at what this person did. I will tell the person, I would like to see you by Friday. Even when I traveled back, I'd like to see you in the house and you must be there by 4 or this. When it comes, as I'm talking to him, the wife will show up. He said, sir, I said, stop. This is why I invited you. And I'm talking about the person that will stop and listen. And at the end, he said that if not you, and I love that part. If not, because that's respect for me. If not you see this woman. So you're not calling her this woman. You used to call her Sugar. And she become.
She's now this woman.
You know?
All right. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Okay, Obin, I'm calling in from Port Harcourt.
Obina, good to have you. Go ahead.
Okay, please, mine is a question. I have a question to ask concerning marriage. Like when two people are going for marriage and maybe going for payment, dowry payment, and the both of them are believers, so to say, and they don't believe in not much in tradition and all that. So, but when the requirement, or it is required that the man should do everything, like in some places, the man will go for list, to collecting of list, and they will say, you buy gold, you buy alcohol, and it is against the couple's belief. So, in such case, what is to be done? Some people used to say you will give money, but when you have given money, you've also done the the traditional stuff. So in this area, I need some kind of so that's my own question.
What's his name again? We've already answered part of this. We've answered part of this initially. We said mistakes couple make before they marry. Part of it is friendship. You and your friend should have sat down and have some clarity. What kind of marriage do you want? We define 3. Is it contemporary marriage? Is it traditional marriage? Is it kingdom marriage? And we have explained the difference between the 3. So from what you are talking about now is traditional marriage. Is it what both of you agreed? Or are you coming contemporary while she's coming traditional? Are you coming kingdom while she's coming this? Are you sure this is before you start paying dowry? This kind of thing should have been settled in. If you say it's kingdom, both of you are Christians, practicing one, maybe born again, Bible believing, blood washed. This is us. It's the work of the lady to go home and meet the parents. The person coming to marry me, this is what he or she believes, sir. If you love me, which I believe you love me as parents, please help me do this. I mean, I've had cases where I bring in my in-laws and said, the people have written this list. This is them. This is their tradition. And from what I see from the dowry, these things they wrote belongs to us. I've spoken to my people, all these things, rapper, this and snap, or whatever, on behalf of my family. I remember one of the cases, my mom was in the US then, she was alive, and my sister was outside, I was representing the family. So what I told them is, on behalf of the family, we have accepted this thing by faith and cancelled it. So we sort out with our in-law. Those ones that belongs to you people, 3 bottles of this snap, or whatever, he will do it for you. But even in the midst of those ones that belong to them, they still believe we have share. Those ones we have, I'm not taking snuff and whatever. So you forget it. You sorry out. So in terms of money, these agreements you make. And there are also times you said, my religion, those who practice religion, or my faith abhors me from doing such. I'm not going to do this. Maybe in your village, somebody must take a knife cut. Or you must give about 5 flashes to beat sense into you.
To know that
yes.
you're
So my religion or my this that abhors this.
Yes.
Is your wife to be that's supposed to convince the parent even before you stop coming. Before you start coming, this kind of thing should have been clear. That's why there should have been clarity. That's that comprehension.
Yeah.
I said it should be interview, not intercourse. Ask questions.
Ask questions. And that is what we're doing now. Ask questions now. We're wrapping up. We have just one more call and we've got to go. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
What's your name?
My name is Favor.
Okay.
I'm calling from DRA.
Favor, what can we do for you?
So my question is, what if you are with someone, maybe you people have been courting for a long time, the person seems like a friendly person, but when you get married, the person just changes. How do you work with that?
What if we are cutting, the person feels like a friendly person? These are the mood switch we are talking about. All right? It happens. It now depends on how long were you married before he changed. And another thing you have to find out, action and reaction is equal and opposite. Why did the person change?
Yeah.
Are there things you did that led to the person changing? Or did he just wake up and is there any mental case he's having? These are the questions. There are so many questions to ask, all right? Because people don't just change. Something would have made that person
to change.
There are sometimes, trust, deficiency in trust. Did you do anything? He forgave you. You were shocked that he forgave you. From that day, he changed.
Yeah.
Because this is somebody that loved you so much and he traveled, you messed around with his friend. And he just, not necessarily adultery, but things you did is unbelievable. But to still prove that he loved you, he forgave you. But from that moment, certain changes come from his life. So we must find out why this person changed. People don't just change. In the absence of that, if it's the mood switch we are talking about, that's what I'm talking about, the mind. What is this guy filling up his mind? There are people that have this, what I call satanic expectations, especially the word from television. You get this thing. There was people, those things you are watching were mirage, acoustic illusion. They're not real. You put them and say, you want my husband or my wife to do this. Are you expecting much? And he's not doing them. He now felt he's changed and the rest. You don't have time. I think I'm going to handle leadership next week.